stop, listen, and ask yourself, have you ever pondered at the idea that there may be something to the other side? If so, and you're hearing my voice for the first time, then you may have just fallen into the void. Well, hey there, hello there, bats and ghouls. From the edge of reason to the heart of the unknown, this is Into the Void, your passageway to the realm where we talk about anything and everything paranormal. I am your ghost host with the most, G-Man, ready to lead you through tales that'll send a shiver down your spine. From restless spirits and real-life hauntings to eerie encounters that blur the line between the living and the dead. Welcome to a podcast that explores the dark corners where the supernatural reigns, unravel mysteries that have haunted the living for centuries, and dig deep into the eerie unknown that creeps just beyond the veil of reality. So whether you're a skeptic or a believer, buckle up, because for this episode, the darkness calls, and we're answering. And speaking of we, joining me on this haunting journey is the Chupacabra himself, straight from the OUCHcast. Please give a warm welcome to Angel.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Angel, what is up, man? How are you?
Tired as a mofo, but I'm doing good. How are you?
You look fantastic for someone who's very tired right now.
I am beyond tired. I am a cadaver right now.
Hence the Superman shirt, dude.
Hence the Superman. I'm trying to.
You're pulling it off today.
But you see how it's black? So,
I can. Yeah, you're recovering.
I'm recovering. I'm the anti-Superman. No, I'm kidding.
I love that.
No, I'm good. Glad. Thank you for having me again. I know your listeners are probably tired of hearing me, but hey, guys, too bad.
Whether you like it or not, bats and ghouls, Angel's here to stay.
OUCHcast is on hiatus, so you got stuck with me.
Exactly. Oh, man, dude, this is exciting. I have been pumped for this episode for the longest time, as you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is going to be super exciting, because I'm particularly excited for this episode because we have, and I'm so happy to say this, we have a very special guest joining us here in the Void.
I told you, I'm not that special.
Well, I wish I could say I was talking about you, but unfortunately, it's not you today.
I'll shut up now.
I'm so sorry. But before we open this crypt, I just want to take a moment here and thank you, my beloved bats and ghouls, for tuning in. Your passion for the strange, the mysterious, and the downright unexplainable is what keeps this spooky podcast alive. Without your support and love for the unusual, this show simply wouldn't exist. And with that said, bats and ghouls, I believe it's time, Angel. I believe it's time to grab your candles, light some sage, as we journey through the void with our very special guest right after this message.
Are you sure this place is haunted?
Yeah. The EMF meter is going crazy, man. Wait.
Did you hear that? If we're about to get chased by a ghost, at least I'm dying in style.
That's because you're wearing Ghost Hunt apparel. Paranormal-inspired designs. Built for comfort. Made by real ghost hunters like us. Totally worth it.
From midnight investigations to everyday haunts, Ghost Hunt Apparel has the wear for any scare. T-shirts, hoodies, and merch made for believers by believers. Visit ghosthunt.co. That's ghosthunt.co and dress for the hunt, because the hunt never ends. Welcome back, bats and ghouls, to the podcast that brings thrills, chills, and a whole lot of spooky vibes. As I teased before the break, we have an extraordinary guest joining us. She's wandered through forgotten corridors, listened to whispers the living were never meant to hear, and returned with truths pulled from the shadows. She is a paranormal researcher, investigator, and celebrated author. She is the founder of the Association of Paranormal Study and the voice behind the spooky stuff, where she explores haunted history, mysterious locations, and chilling ghost reports. Now, you've likely seen her on the Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, CTV Sci-Fi, and Tubi, sharing her insight and experiences with audiences worldwide. She is the author of not one, not two, but Angel, several books, including More Than Ghosts, a guide to working residential cases in the paranormal field, The Haunting of the 10th Avenue Theater, The Haunted Actor, The Brave Mortal's Guide to Ghost Hunting, One Bed Over, a Hospital Haunting, Women of the Paranormal, Volume 1, A Brief History, and her latest book to come out, Haunted Northern Virginia. But our guest for this episode is more than just an author or a face on television. In my personal opinion, she's a truth seeker, a woman pioneering the way not just for women in the field, but for anyone looking to understand the paranormal with honesty, empathy, and a strong sense of purpose. But hey, I'll let her tell you more about that. Bats and Ghouls, please join me in welcoming the one and only Alex Matsuo.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
Alex, this is wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I know we've been trying to make this happen for a bit, so I'm excited that it's finally happening.
Yeah, here we go. So, Alex, before we jump into the world of haunted hospitals, spooky stages, spectral investigations, I'd like to take a moment to explore the story behind the storyteller. Because what you write about and how you write it doesn't just come off from research or reports. It comes from a deeply personal place. So let's begin at the beginning, the why behind the work, and the journey that led you to create a team of like-minded individuals known as the Association of Paranormal Study. So Alex, I'm going to give you the mic. Tell us your path into the paranormal.
Yeah, so I had experiences when I was a kid, and it was very much this spark of curiosity for me. I was both intrigued, freaked out, but also I wanted to learn more. And I always had like an affinity and interest in all things spooky, even from the time I was a kid. I grew up in a very conservative Christian household, mainly led by my mother. My grandmother was a bit more like open to other ideals and things, but my mom was very much this no spooky things allowed in the house, no are you afraid of the dark, can't bring in goosebumps, the books by R.L. Stein, it was very much this, there's no such thing as ghosts, only demons. And of course, when you tell a kid to not get into that, it's only going to be like, well, what is this thing? And so I got really interested in the spooky stuff, and hence why my overall paranormal brand is called The Spooky Stuff, because that's like the stuff that I love. But yeah, so I ended up having a very alarming experience after a really bad car accident in 2005. Which sort of made me dive in head first into the paranormal because it was literally in my face and I could not turn away from it. I could not ignore it. And you read One Bed Over, I think so.
Oh, yeah. Angel, yeah. I don't know if I told you this, but I read five of Alex's books.
Oh, you did? You kept sending me pictures
picture
after picture of every single album cover. Oh, my God, I'm so obsessed. Oh, my God, this album. Oh, my God, this book is so good.
I became obsessed with her research and what she went through. And I mean, I'm not like I'm a huge fan or anything, it's not like I'm promoting it or something, but he's gonna take a picture. Sorry. But this story, this book, One Bed Over, a Hospital Haunting. I mean, Alex, I read. Let's put it this way. I started off with The Haunting of the 10th Avenue Theater. So I started off with this book. And this book actually did a whole if you go back and you read the other story about what happened and how it all started. And I went, wait, I'm sorry, put this book down. Need to read this book now. And wow, I mean, I'm going to let you go ahead and continue explaining. But wow, this book is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. So to give a very short overview of what happened with me in 2005, I got into a really, really bad car accident to the point where I had to go to the hospital. And because it was New Year's Eve and in Southern California and it was raining, if anyone's ever lived in Southern California, driving's already sketchy as is, but add in rain into it, which doesn't happen often, everyone kind of loses their mind when it
Yep.
comes to driving.
Oh yeah.
So,
One drop of rain and everyone in LA loses it.
They don't know. The sky is crying.
Wait, we get rain in California?
What is that? You would think it was acid rain from the 80s.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yep, hilarious. So, hospitals were packed to the point where basically we were sharing trauma rooms with other people, and I ended up sharing a trauma room with an individual who I'm certain that he had passed from like a motorcycle accident. But as I was like edging and going towards death, and I had an out-of-body experience, he was also having his own thing. Long story short, he ended up not surviving that evening, and I started seeing his apparition. I started seeing him in my hospital room, to the point where, and keep in mind I was 19 at the time, and I thought like, oh, he was coming to visit, he's coming in and check in on me, but then I found out that he had passed. So it was the beginning of basically what was 8 months of this man just hanging around me, and unfortunately he wasn't the most calm or passive presence. He was very aggressive. One of the big things he would say to me was, why you not me? Why you not me? Why did you live and why did I die? I won't give away the ending of how it all got resolved. It did eventually get resolved, but it took about 8 months. But that was very much the start of me wanting to start some sort of group to help other people, because keep in mind my accident happened in 2005 and my recovery and my experience went into 2006. The paranormal community that exists now did not exist back then.
Right.
And finding help was near to impossible unless like you knew somebody like out of like the like on the underground, like in the underground network, that type of thing. So help was not easily accessible, and paranormal TV was just starting to emerge. Like Ghost Hunters, I think, was in like their first or their second season. So the amount of teams that exist now, they weren't around back then. There may have been one or two teams, but getting and finding them was extremely difficult. So that whole experience inspired me to like, I would love to try to help other people with a similar situation, because I learned a lot from it. And and it really got me wanting to dive deep into like, what is this that I experienced? What is like this phenomena? Like, what the heck is going on? And it was bad enough to my conservative Christian mother was like, oh yeah, something's definitely going on. So that was the start. But I didn't start my team until 2011 because I wanted to finish my schooling first. And so I've been I've been doing the spooky thing ever since. I mean, I did the ghost hunting thing, like going to cemeteries when I was like 16 as soon as I could drive.
Okay.
I grew up in San Diego. So so I grew up like 10 minutes away from the Whaley House in Old Town San Diego.
Oh wow. Dude, that's
so
cool.
I had a pretty strong foundation of like spooky things around me, Star of India, that sort of thing. But yeah, that was kind of my origin story there.
Wild, absolutely wild.
Better than Batman's.
Better than Batman's story, that's for sure. So you mentioned your mom. Now I know in your book One Bed Over, you do talk about your mother a lot, and you were saying about her being a conservative Christian. Mm-hmm. So if you could maybe just explain a little bit, we won't give too much away. I really want our Bats and Ghouls to read this book and get a full insight of everything that you went through. But if maybe you could just give us a little bit of insight, because I've heard you talk about your mother before on other shows, and maybe we could just talk a little bit about her on here. Mm-hmm. So what was it like growing up, having these experiences with your mom as well?
Yeah, so it was interesting. My mother, like knowing what I know now, my mother, I don't want to say she grew up spiritually confused, but maybe more spiritually inhibited, which is ironic because my grandmother, her mother, and my grandfather, her father, were not super rigid in that, but my mother definitely fell into the trap of Christian fundamentalism or even Christian nationalism, dare I say.
Okay.
so especially after my grandmother died, and my grandfather had died first and then my grandmother, so we had gotten very much looped into this world of extreme conservative Christianism, um, to the point where my senior year of high school I joined a Christian drama group, and I ended up homeschooling my senior year because you had to homeschool.
Oh, wow.
At first I was told it was because of availability, like, there's a lot of travel, so homeschooling is more efficient. But it turned out that it was mainly to control people and control kids, control us. And so I got sucked into this extreme world where, wearing makeup was heavily discouraged. You didn't date, you courted. You courted, which is wild looking back at that. Boys and girls couldn't really sit next to each other, couldn't hold hands. I remembered like two people in my drama group had kissed. Like, it was a very innocent kiss, but they had to stand up in front of the group and apologize.
And this is a Christian-related group, or is this a Mormon group?
It's a Christian-related group,
Wow.
but it's extreme Christian fundamentalism. Girls were also heavily discouraged from wearing pants. Boys are like the head of the household type of thing and had dominion over women. It was absolutely wild, and my mom very much fell into that because I think she found a support group. She found a network with that. But then after she passed away and I was going through, well, I'm going to rewind a little bit. But something that kind of made me realize that she was a bit more spiritually open than she was willing to admit was so I'm a quarter Japanese. Can't really tell by looking at me, but I'm a quarter Japanese. My mom was half Japanese. And my mother practiced Reiki. And at the time, like, I knew of Reiki because I saw her do it, and I saw her with my aunts, in Hawaii, like learning Reiki and doing Reiki. And I had cut my finger one time on a can, so we were on our way to the hospital, and my mom actually did Reiki on me to help relieve the pain. And it was absolutely wild. So my mom practiced Reiki, so that was like my first thing of like, something's different because this isn't like prayer. Like, she was actually using Reiki. And by the way, for anyone listening, Reiki from like when you go down the generations, like through my Japanese family, it is not like the Reiki that is practiced mainstream amongst the West, that's a whole other show for another time.
Yeah.
Because when I was starting to learn, like, I took a Reiki class, like, just because I was like, well, I kind of missed out on the chance to learn it from my family. But I knew enough because I had seen it, I had listened. And then when I took a class, I was like, wait, what is this? I'm like, wait, this isn't Reiki. So it's very different. But then when my mother passed away and I was going through all her stuff, I found, I'm not even kidding, hundreds of crystals, a deck of tarot cards, the Doreen Virtue Angel Oracle deck, and dowsing rods, manuals on how to use tarot cards and dowsing rods. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
What the heck?
That's why she did not want her to be looking into it.
Oh, that makes sense.
She had first person experience.
Ah, okay.
Funny enough, she's like the third case I hear about Reiki opening up some paranormal.
Really?
Jason Hawes from TAPS.
That's right.
His personal experience, first experience into the paranormal was
Reiki.
Reiki as well.
That's right.
He doesn't speak about it, but he at least hinted at it.
Wild. That's wild. Huh.
Yeah. So, and I think with the one bed over incident too, my mother had seen and mainly heard and felt and experienced things with that too. So I think that might have done some things with her too, but she never dared admitted it. And this was when I came out of the spooky closet, I guess we can say, with witches, we say coming out of the broom closet.
I love that.
With spooky stuff, I remembered my mom had said to me when I decided to start my team, she was like, you feel this is your calling, isn't it? Like, this is your destiny. Like, she was very dramatic about it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And she had, and this is in the book, and I believe it's in one bed, but it's in several of my books, but I've referenced this. But my mom said, like, when I was pregnant with you, I was practicing the occult. I was doing divination. I was doing tarot cards and all these things. And she's like, I feel like I marked you. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Huh. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't sell my soul to Lucifer, Mom. I mean, it's fine. But it was just interesting that she's like, I blame myself for this, and I'm like, that's one. I don't think this is a bad thing, but it seems like she's had an awareness throughout her life, and she was learning more about it, especially with all the books and everything that I found. I am sad that she couldn't share that with me, even though I was very open about it. And maybe it was because she had made such a big stink about it throughout my life. Like she didn't want to like make it. And this was definitely her personality. She didn't want to make it seem like she caved or she compromised. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say more that she's just kind of just looking out for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is quite possible too. Like maybe she hoped that maybe if she had kept all of this on the down low and didn't share it, maybe it would have protected me more. Well, you know.
Yeah, well.
Like, you know. Here I am now.
Right, yeah.
Doing this interview.
Oh my goodness. That's absolutely insane. Angel, sorry, you had your hand up a minute ago. Did you have something?
I answered it. It was
okay.
the Reiki.
I'm all sitting here like he has his hand up. Yes, Angel from the back.
Yeah. How much is that?
Wild, absolutely wild. Oh my gosh. Well, Alex, I wanted to talk a little bit about the journey beyond the veil. You had been open about how personal trauma has helped shape your path into the paranormal. What was the moment when you knew that this wasn't an interest but a calling?
You know, that's a great question because this is like the thing that has stuck out in my life for the longest. Besides theater. Theater will always be a thing for me, but
I love theater.
I know, right?
I know. I did theater in high school and a little bit in college. That's why when I'm reading your books and I heard you did theater, I was like, oh my gosh, I can connect with this person.
Nice. Yeah. And it's funny because paranormal and theater also has a lot of crossovers too. So it's like,
you are the reason why. I sorry to interrupt you again. But I will say, Angel, Alex is the reason why I have became so obsessed with theater and the paranormal. I never in a million years would have ever put that together. And I had my own. I'm not going to get into too much because this isn't about me. This is about Alex. However, I did have my own personal theater experience where, and it's impacted to even mention in Alex's book too. Everything's mentioned in Alex's book. I had a moment where I decided to be really dumb, and I was in a play. I was in a oh gosh, it was called, I think, The Divining Rod or something like that. And
The Diviners?
The Diviners, there we go.
Yeah, I knew exactly which play you were talking about. It's one of my favorites.
So I did this over at Rio Hondo Community College, and I decided to be really dumb. And Angel, never, ever, ever, ever do this in a theater because I've learned my lesson. Do not recite the Scottish play.
Nope.
In the theater. I was so dumb. People were bringing it up. They're like, "Oh gosh, you're not supposed to say this stuff. You're not supposed to wish someone good luck on opening night. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to leave the ghost light on the stage after everything's cleaned up and done, and you never ever say the Scottish play." And I was so dumb, and I repeated the Scottish play at least 150 times in one day.
The Hamlet,
dude.
I didn't finish it.
I don't know why I'm thinking Hamlet. It's not Hamlet. Oh my gosh.
I don't say it out loud.
Yeah. But I did recite it about over 150 times.
The whole world is a stage. What are you talking about, man?
And in the middle of my scene, out of all the scenes that have happened, in the middle of my scene, the lights go out. And our director comes out and tells everyone, like, we finished the scene, everyone clapped, but our director comes out and says we're going to move from this theater into another section because a car apparently had slammed into a power line and it cut all the power of the entire school. But it's like, what are the odds that I was being dumb that night and decided, hey, let's recite the Shakespeare or the Scottish play. And yeah, I learned my lesson. So I can understand the whole theater thing. Yeah, it's really not a joke. Like, people always joke around saying, oh, don't say this, don't say that. It's not a joke. Like, that stuff really, I feel like, is a curse with this play. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. I've heard so many stories about the Scottish play, like being said in the theater, and then disaster happens, or like even little things happen. I've done the Scottish play a couple times,
Mm.
playing various roles, and I've always had something weird happen. But luckily they've been very subtle, so nothing like huge or disastrous. One of my favorite ones though was when I pulled my sword, my stage sword, out of the helm. The blade like fell off and like flew across the stage, like
No
in midair. And I was
way.
like, what? So really, really funny stuff.
Wild.
Yeah.
So your book, One Bed Over, is incredibly emotional and deeply human. What was it like reliving those hospital experiences while writing? And did any new realizations come to you during the process?
Yeah, so the whole reason why I wrote One Bed Over was because my story was going to be featured on haunted hospitals. And it wasn't that I didn't have any faith in paranormal TV, but I also knew that ultimately paranormal TV wants to entertain. And I ended up sitting in the chair in the studio for a couple of hours, retelling my story.
Wow.
And I was a little worried about how they were going to tell my story, how they were going to use the frames or use the shots and everything. Because I've had a friend who recorded an interview about Mothman, and they managed to edit things in a way that to make her say that she thought Mothman was radioactive.
Oh, wow.
So they basically spliced audio together to make her say that.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, well, I just wanted to be super cautious. So I wrote the book so that my story was out there. And the book came out about a month after the episode came out. I had meant to get the book out beforehand, but I was like, we'll just do it after the episode, and it ended up being fine. But between the interview in the studio in Atlanta and writing the book, I had to revisit those memories. And I had not told that story in like 15 years. Like,
Wow.
I had a couple of friends who knew about it, especially like roommates who were living with me at the time, because I did have a roommate or two, there. And after my accident, I had friends over weekly, while I was recovering. So I had a couple people who knew, but it wasn't something I just widely shared. It's not like it was my story when I went to Paracons or anything like that. It's like, oh, I had a spirit attachment, because I didn't want that to be like my identity. I wanted to be seen as like a researcher and a author, and and in the paranormal community, it's very easy to have like those experiences kind of identify you and shape you, and
Right.
have people
Yeah.
basically tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And I also never wanted to. I don't like to use this word, but it's the best one I got, to exploit my trauma to bring attention to myself.
Okay.
Even though like I survived a 25-foot fall and an 8-month haunting, it was like, get that cash cow, I guess. Some people were
Right,
like, oh
yeah.
yeah, you totally deserve it after everything you went through. And I was
Right.
like, I'm known for, I want to be known for other things. But also I realized I had not really processed that trauma 15 years later, like as I was writing, especially when I was rehashing the accident. I kept it together in the studio, but when I was writing it and putting it down on paper and like revisiting things and memories and talking to friends who were in my life back then and asking them like, hey, can you tell me what you experienced that night? Because basically my mom called everybody when when the accident happened. There was a whole slew of people in the waiting room when I was in the hospital. So having to revisit those memories, my night terrors came back, and I didn't realize what I had experienced back then was night terrors until, I was seeing a therapist by the time I was writing the book, and I was telling her about, having to rehash these memories and, waking up screaming and crying, and she's like, Alex, those are night terrors. And I'm like, oh, those are night terrors. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Experiencing flashbacks and having like those, and also just like having those memories and those feelings come back. And I think the big realization that I had was both. So I had two, both paranormally and both personally. Personally, for me, it was if anyone who knows me, and even people who know of me and have watching me on social media, I'm an incredibly busy person. Like,
Mm.
I'm always doing something, I'm always working on a project, and I had realized that what I was doing was a form of survivor's guilt, meaning, like,
Okay.
because I had survived this accident and because I survived this ordeal, I felt like I owed the world something to
Hmm.
validate why I survived. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've been in the
yeah.
same boat myself. I served in the army for 3 years, and I've had my experiences overseas, and getting out and having to relive those memories, and you're trying to sleep, and all of a sudden it's like you're back in that same situation again, and you're just waking up, cold sweats. I get that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Survivor's guilt, PTSD, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it was almost like, oh, you survived this accident for a reason. God must have a big plan for
Hmm.
you. And then I'm like, well, I'm sitting here in my corporate job, working from home and creating trainings for the big guys, for the man. I'm like, is this why I survived? So it
Right.
really kind of brings
Yeah.
about an identity crisis with you too. Like, maybe I should be joining the Peace Corps, or joining Congress, or doing things to change the world. And I
Right.
wasn't. I was just hanging out at home.
Yeah,
Um,
Angel, I was the same way when I got out. Like I had that whole PTSD experience, everything, to the point where it was like when I was leaving Iraq. Actually, they asked people, "Hey, do you want to stay?" And I was like, I raised my hand right away. I was like, "Yeah, I'll stay." I feel like I owed it to the people of Iraq to be able to
Right.
stay here and continue helping. And the reality is that you're putting yourself in even a much more traumatic situation. You
Would you
know,
consider that some form of like survivor's guilt?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Same with the Santa Monica school shooting that I survived.
Hmm.
Being in the library and having a gunman come into the library like that. It's wild to think that something like that would even happen to you.
Right.
But at the same time, you're like, I'm glad I survived, but what about the other people?
Right.
And finding out that somebody did get hurt or someone did get hurt in the offices next door, and you're like, God, I just wish I could have done something more.
Right.
But yeah, no, I get that, and that is something that's just not fun. It is not fun. It is not an experience that I wish on anybody. And Alex, I'm so sorry that you had to go through all that, but also I am extremely happy that you have survived that and that you are here with us.
oh, thank you. And I'm sorry you had to go through similar too. It's not fun.
No, it's not. And you're right. The whole sitting there, like, you're typing away, filling out, paperwork or whatever, and you're like, this is my life. This is what you wanted me to do. Like, doing all this
Yeah.
stuff. I felt that way, and then I realized for me, my own personal realization is that I have 2 kids. I have 2 boys, and they are my life. They are the reason why I am still here. They're the reason why I push forward and continue on. So, everyone has their own thing that
Yeah.
they, look at and they go, oh, I know why I'm here. So, yeah. But again, I'm so glad that you are here. I gotta say, Angel, when I read the book, okay, about what happened in her accident, which I don't want to go into too much deal about the accident. I don't want to bring up issues or memories, but at the same time, I will say, reading about it, the detail behind it, that's the part that makes you just kind of go, holy crap.
Right.
This woman, not only did she survive a car accident, but this woman survived a 25-foot fall.
Hmm.
And being able to write about it and share your experience, it's mind blowing. Like, I can't even think of the words right now to say because it's just so mind blowing, the detail behind what happened.
Right. Right.
But again, this is what got Alex's into the paranormal, into studying the paranormal. I did want to ask you something though, Alex. You mentioned something in your book, and I just remember this right now. In your book, you mentioned the word paranormal and how you didn't really like it. Do you still feel the same way about that word?
I still have a love-hate relationship with that word.
Okay.
Um, I think I've learned to love it a bit more. Um, and I don't want to be cliche and be like the paranormal is normal.
Right,
But
yeah.
very much like this field of study is so stigmatized.
Mhm.
Whereas, you know, when I even think about even to my grandmother's generation, it was not, I don't want to say more widely accepted, but when my grandmother was young, even I think maybe even going back to my great grandmother might be more accurate because she was born in 1911.
Okay.
And she also was in Appalachia, so spirituality
Oh.
was a bit more embraced and
Okay.
more normalized. So it wasn't necessarily labeled paranormal. It was just granny witches, that
Mm.
that sort of thing.
Okay.
Um, And I feel like with the word paranormal, I mean, it is an accurate word to describe this world. Um, but yeah, like it just comes with like its own like stigmatization. Even like, this, it's also why I don't like the word ghost hunting or using ghost hunters in like my content, but it brings people to me. So that's why I still use those terms. Because
Like
otherwise I wouldn't be able to attract people to my content.
Yeah, those certain words that make people go, "Oh, okay, I'm interested." Got it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I reel them in, and I'm like, hey, here's some other ways we can describe this phenomenon.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Absolutely. So you speak often about empathy and inclusivity in ghost hunting. Why do you think that's so often, or why do you think that's often overlooked, and how can the community do better?
I don't want to say I'm blaming the media,
But we're blaming the
I'm
media.
kind of blaming the media.
Yeah, we're gonna blame them in either way.
Yeah, because it seems, and I'm also blaming like the commercialization of ghost hunting
Okay.
a bit, especially for like monetization, making money, that sort of thing, which I guess is a branch off of the media discussion. But we've really have. I kind of joke that a lot of paranormal teams and ghost hunters today are kind of doing their own RPGs or they're doing their own role-playing games with ghost hunting. Like they're really trying to like to be the heroes of their own story type of thing, like almost like reliving like Supernatural, the TV show Supernatural, or even Ghost Adventures, where it's like you're coming in as the hero against the spooky unknown ghosts, and we're gonna save this family that needs help, or we're gonna solve the mystery of this haunted asylum and have the ghosts cross over. And it drives me batty. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. And
That's
really what has resulted, it's like the othering of spirits and these entities, when really, no matter how we define what a ghost is, it's either us, or it's our ancestors, or our loved ones, or our friends, or it's just this mystical thing or this psychological thing that we don't know really what it is. And to me, it's like we should still respect it, regardless of what we think it is, and not coming in here like, get out in the name of Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
The power of Christ compels you.
Does it, Jay?
That's the one thing I was gonna say about reality TV. The paranormal, what was it? Paranormal State. That show?
Paranormal State. Oh yeah.
That turned me off so quickly when he made everything about demons and, personal. It's like, dude, stop with the narrative, man. It's not all about you.
Well, see, the problem I have with media and paranormal ghost hunting shows, all that, is that it's just because it is entertainment. It kind of, I feel like it shifted everyone's thought process of, oh, I can go do that and I'll get evidence and I'll do this. And it's like, we're not paying attention to the fact that like it's edited and that, we're not, anyone that's done an investigation knows that it takes hours and hours and hours. It's not just,
Quick,
go in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I completely understand where you come from about the media. Definitely I like to say overhyping everything,
well, that's why we have dust being portrayed as ghost and as orb, when they're orbs.
Amen.
Right.
One of my biggest pet peeves. It's a bug. It's dust. Relax.
Yep.
It really is.
Double exposure.
It really is quite annoying to watch like a show and then go, oh, well, this was that moment when we didn't realize that the orb was floating around our head. And it was like, you're in an old place.
You have dandruff.
It's dusty. It's old. Like as soon as you step in, that dust is going to come up, and particles of dust are going to be floating around still. I'm the same with the Conjuring house right now. I've been Bats and Ghouls. I know I've talked about this in the last episode, but I'm bringing it up again. It's bothering me.
Well, you know how I feel about the Warrens.
I know.
Go down that
we could have a whole discussion about the Warrens and everything.
It'll become a rant. So let's not go there.
It's funny because real quick, I know how you feel about the Warrens, and I know, Alex, how you feel about the Warrens. I've seen a lot of your social media posts and everything. And I got to say, my thought process about the Warrens is still up in the air. I want to believe, when I first heard about them, I was like, ooh, that's scary, demonic stuff. And then as time went on, it was like, oh, wait, they're doing this, which is in comparison to Holtz's book.
They stole a lot from Hans Holzer.
Right.
They really did.
And that's the thing that was like, when you had mentioned that and Alex started talking about the Warrens and other people were talking about the Warrens, I hate to say it, but I almost got influenced to say I don't believe any of the crap they're doing. But at the same time,
welcome, brother.
We're all in the same club now. But at the same time, it's like I treat it like when a new movie comes out and there's a review. Everyone's going to give their review about it.
You got to give
and
your own personal experience.
there's a lot of negativity, and then so I got to give my own personal review on it.
I can respect that.
The Annabelle stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah, but for me, just on the record, the Warrens are up there with Sylvia Brown.
Okay.
Bunkus.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it.
No, I like that. So Alex, your book, The Brave Mortal's Guide to Ghost Hunting. That is a mouthful, by the way. Imagine saying that 5 times fast.
I can't even say it once.
The Brave Mortal Guide. Okay, that's hard. So is a favorite among new investigators. What's the one rookie mistake you see a lot of people make when diving into the paranormal for the first time?
I think going in there and making assumptions about what the activity is right away, especially after just one visit.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I'm doing investigations and I'm working, so to speak, I don't diagnose or make assumptions like after even like the 5th or 6th visit. It's really like a process for me, because one, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to ghost hunting, and it's like you have to take into consideration what did other people experience first before you, and could it have been a biased experience, especially on ghost tours or tours of haunted locations before you investigate. A lot of times those tours are there they happen because they're trying to prime you into having similar experiences once you go off around the place by yourself. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. And I honestly don't even think a lot of these tour companies even realize they're doing it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like going into like the boiler room of the USS Hornet, and the guide is saying, oh, here is where people smell roses. People tend to smell roses in this room. So when you come back down here, see if you can smell roses.
They plant the
seed. So what are you going to
in
do when you go down to the boiler room? You're going to try to see if you can smell roses. And if you don't smell roses, then you might be like, well, I don't smell roses, but I smell cookies. Then it's like.
It's like they're influencing you to get ready for something that most likely won't happen. Yeah.
Exactly.
Same with the Queen Mary. Like when people talk about smelling a cigar smell on the Queen Mary, I noticed a lot of people either have like a placard or they talk to you about it first.
I can explain that though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cigar smell traps in asbestos. And as an asbestos abatement expert for 25 years.
That's right.
I can attest that it will stay in asbestos in anything that they have. And the Queen Mary has every inch of it is covered in asbestos. So it's going to get trapped when all the cigars from back in the days to now, it stays. When it gets hot enough, it permeates and comes out. So if the environment is correct, the smell of cigar comes back, or cigarette smoke comes back. So it never goes away. No matter how many times you paint over it, it's going to come back. Because asbestos does not get destroyed.
You learn something new every time on this show. Every episode we learn something so like scientifically new or like naturally new. I love this show.
I love it. I did not know that, but also I'm like the Queen Mary has got asbestos. Like what?
Oh yeah. I know they abated a bunch of it a couple years ago, but it's still there.
Wow.
The boiler rooms, everything has it. So
that's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And also, real quick, you guys can call the Brave Mortal's Guide to Ghost Hunting. You call it Bumujijum.
What is it called?
Bum-bum-jijum.
Bum-bum-jibum.
That's the BMGGGH.
So we're going to hyphenate the book now and call it Bum-bum-jibum.
Bum-bum-jibum.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I love it.
All right. We're going to... New book coming out next year by Alex Matsuo.
Bum-bum-jibum. Volume 2.
Volume 2. Oh, man. That's great.
That's awesome.
So this is actually not on my list of questions, but something came up last night, and I'm bringing this up for Alex and Angel, actually, because this came up last night. It's very interesting. Somebody was talking about haunted objects, and there was a guy, I think there's like a new tour going around in LA where like this person is asking people like, do you believe that objects can be cursed? And he's like, I guess it's a show though. I think he's like going around and showing people like there's a ghost in this dummy and stuff. But it did make me have that big question. Can objects be haunted? Do you believe or do you think that objects can be haunted? This is for a question for Alex and also for Angel.
I'll let the guest answer first.
I have mixed feelings about it, and this is somebody who is speaking as someone who owns a haunted doll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Madison, she's right up there.
That's right. I forgot you own Madison, the haunted. Oh my gosh, how did I forget that?
Yeah, she's calmed down in the past couple years, and it's just interesting because when I first got her, things were going nuts, and then I don't know if like. I don't know what happened, and maybe I don't know. Now, in terms of like a haunted, whether an object can be haunted, I'm mixed about it because one, I feel like maybe it's more of like energy that's possibly attached to an item, especially if it was held a lot. And going into like theories about tulpas and thought forms and egregores, is it possible that we kind of create our own ghosts that possesses these objects? Because the last thing I really want to do in my afterlife, I think, is, haunting a snow globe I owned or a ring, that kind of thing. Or something.
Right.
Unless that object meant a lot to me and I want to stick with it as long as possible. I've also heard of people like trying to trap ghosts in haunted objects, and I'm like,
like the Dybbuk box thing, right?
Yeah.
Where like people were getting boxes and putting demons in them and then covering it in wax. So like that became such a trend. It was so hard to believe whether that was even possible or not.
Yep, and some people made a lot of money from that.
That's insane.
Made a lot of money, and it's unfortunate. And the Dybbuk box is so problematic in so many angles.
Yeah.
But so many reasons why the Dybbuk box is problematic. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I'm not going to say like it's impossible for an object to be haunted. Now, I don't like, it's one of those things like I don't know if we'll ever really know for sure. I do think objects can hold like energy. Because I mean, I've held bullets from the Civil War and I've felt weird things, and I'm like, Ugh. Now that's where the bias comes in though, because one person might be like, oh, it's a ghost haunting these bullets, and I'm sitting here like, what did these bullets see? What did they experience? What events happened with, like, did these bullets, were they inside a person? And in that case, if they were inside a person, am I feeling that person's last moments? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of my feelings on it. I feel like it's possible now in situations like Annabelle or the Dybbuk box or anything like that. I'm kind of like, I don't like to speak in absolutes, which is why I'm like, I'm actually not sure. I can't really debunk it.
Yeah.
Because I've had experiences, but I'm also like very skeptical of like, oh, this doll is possessed by a demon. And I'm like, how do we know that? We don't even know what a demon is made of. We don't know what a ghost is made of.
Yeah.
We don't really know what energy is made of. Like, is the energy that, that manifests as a ghost, is it the same energy that my body produces when it's burning calories? I don't know.
Okay. I like that answer. Yeah. And Angel, how about you? What are your thoughts on the haunted objects being cursed or haunted?
It's a case by case, depending on the situation. I don't think there could be curses if someone actually like hexes it, but you got to be like really advanced to be able to do that, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna say like every 9 out of 10 things are haunted. It's just that one thing. It's a rarity, and I think it is something more of a residue. Okay. I don't think it is an actual entity stuck to it. I think it's just residue. I've told you what my theory is on ghosts. You have different levels. You have the VHS, which is the one that's stuck on a loop. Right. You have your spirit that is stuck behind for whatever reason that is not finished. Right. You have your environmental, which is what I call like that thing that I told you about that I saw that I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah.
Dog thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is something from nature that was never human. And
it was still very...
and then you got your demonic, or whatever you want to call it, the evil entities. Yeah. So I believe that it might be just residue. Maybe once in a while there might be a case, but I think they're rare if possible, if they exist. But on the whole, no.
So Alex, have you had a chance to visit the Annabelle doll?
Years ago.
Oh, okay.
Back in like
2012.
Yeah, Lorraine was still alive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That was about the time because they used to do because Lorraine used to do like dinners, like Warrenology events.
Oh,
Where
that's
you would
right.
go to the house, you go to the house, or you go to a hotel ballroom and have dinner, and Lorraine would be there, and like Annabelle would be there.
Yeah.
For
So
$5,000.
so I did.
For $5,000 a plate, you too can be part of the Annabelle experience.
For 15 minutes.
It was, I think I want to say it was like 150 or $200 at that time, which back
That's
then,
not bad.
which it wasn't terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, 'cause
Yeah.
you got to have dinner with Lorraine, and you got to like, she did a talk, and you got to see things.
Yeah.
And you chatted with other people. So I mean, it wasn't terrible compared to like now, where it's, you know, and this was obviously this was before the Conjuring movies came out, and
Yeah.
you know, Ed had passed like 6 years prior, so I want to say there was I don't want to say a lull in Lorraine's career, because she had been making appearances on Paranormal State.
Right.
But even then, it's like, it's not like she was mainstream. She had a mainstream identity then. So it was much more intimate, and honestly, I kind of miss that period of the paranormal community where, you know, it wasn't like so novelty and so like dependent on like, you know, the
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
the gasps and, you know, the YouTube thumbnails that look like Rembrandt paintings,
Right. Yeah.
you know, that
yeah.
kind of thing.
I definitely would love to just, for me personally, I would love to go and visit. Not for like an experience, not to have something happen. I just want to say I've been there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you know, with the whole purchase of the Warren house, and I think I think Tony and Judy are leasing the objects to Matt Rife.
Yeah, we were just having a conversation about that in the last episode, and it still kind of bothers me a little bit that like Matt Rife is now what did we say, the owner, and he has, is he own the rights or no? It's
no, just the
house,
estate. He owns the estate.
The estate, yeah,
I believe so.
yeah.
I have a question. What about the other doll? Paul, was it? The little one with the little sailor outfit?
What was it? Yeah, the little sailor hat one.
Robert
the doll.
Who owns Robert the doll?
I don't know.
That one I want to say might be owned by the state of Florida or a county, because it's part of a museum.
Oh, okay.
Because Robert Otto, who owned Robert the doll, Robert Eugene Otto, I think Eugene is his middle name.
It is now.
He was a renowned artist, so his house is actually historically preserved. So I could be wrong, but I want to say Robert might be owned by the county, whatever county that he's in, or he's got an owner that's very like accommodating. But I'm trying to remember specifically, or I'm trying to remember what it is for sure. But Robert's not owned by anybody famous or at the moment. Could that change eventually? I'm sure it will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And follow-up question, what would happen if you put all three dolls together?
Yeah.
So Robert the doll, Annabelle, and Alex's doll.
Yeah.
Oh, what a lovely tea party.
Would it be a death match,
It
or
would
would
be
they
a
join
great
forces?
tea party. It'd be an excellent tea party.
That would be like the dream team put together.
Yep.
It's like looking at like Freddy and Chucky and Jason and all that put together. Oh my gosh.
That's
Dude, that'd be
hilarious.
insane though. Like imagine like putting them all in the same room, just leaving them with cameras and just seeing what happens.
Just to see what happens, yeah.
Yeah. Like do they conversate with
heck
each
yeah.
other? Do they cause mayhem in the room?
Then
You
they
know?
push each
I
other.
would totally do that.
Does Alex's doll leave and just say, I'm out?
Yeah.
So Alex, my last question here, because we are running out of time, but I do have one last question here, and then I have something on a little bit of a lighter note. So the last question here is, what advice would you give to my bats and ghouls, or those what I like to call the void walkers, who are curious, maybe even a little afraid, but are drawn to the paranormal?
I would say research as much as you can. So read books, go back to the roots of ghost hunting. So even like go back to like, I'm not going to try to plug in women of the paranormal, but you know, look into the history of our field.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little less scary when you find out where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you know, read books, educate yourself. There's classes that are done by the Society for Psychical Research, the Rhine. There's a lot of really good content out there to consume. I would say Yeah, just research and read. Maybe don't watch YouTube so much. And I say this as someone who is a YouTube channel creator. I mean, I haven't made anything in like a couple years now, um, but I would say definitely read books.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will always tell people that. Read
Absolutely. Reading, I think, in my personal opinion, again, reading is power. Knowledge is power.
As for the YouTube, quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Quality over quantity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But I like how you said that, going back to the roots of paranormal investigations, going back and doing the research, the study, finding the books, looking through archives, all that stuff. That, I think, is a very smart thing to do. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. All right, Alex. Well, listen, we are running out of time, but I do have one more awesome thing that I'd love to do with you here. We're going to end this on a lighter note because sometimes when we talk about the paranormal, we talk about ghost stories, it can get a little down for a lot of people. So we're going to end this on a high note here. Alex, welcome to Into the Void's Rapid Fire. So basically what's going to happen is it's time for a little paranormal speed round. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ghosts or cryptids?
Ghosts.
EVP or spirit box?
EVP.
Sage or Palo Santo?
Palo Santo.
Best haunted location you've ever visited?
Ooh, I would say the Trevec Clinic in Hamptonville, North Carolina.
Really?
I wrote a whole book about it, so.
Wait, I don't think I own that book. No.
What?
The Hamptonville Hauntings.
That's
Homework.
the next one. That was the next one that I posted on my social media saying that's the next book I'm going to get, and I haven't gotten it yet. Why? All right, last question. One paranormal myth. I can't speak today. One paranormal myth you wish would disappear.
That demons are common.
Oh.
They're not.
Okay.
They're not.
I think it's funny when
extremely rare.
when somebody like has an investigation and you're hanging out, like you're doing an investigation with people that never really have done an investigation, but they've watched like the TV shows and their first thought process is, it's a demon. It's a demon. And you're like, dude, it was the wind. Calm down. Like.
Yep, exactly. Demon. It's like, no.
Well, listen, Alex, it has truly been a delight having you on the show. I mean, it's not even a delight. This has been an experience having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Well, listen, I think I speak for all of us when I say thank you, not just for sharing your experiences with the paranormal, but offering insight, empathy, and encouragement to those of us who are still finding our way through the unknown. You know, I got to say, this is coming from a personal note of myself. Your voice is a guiding light in this strange and shadowy field.
Oh, thank you. Goodness.
All right. Well, listen, Alex, we are going to have to end this show. I hate to end the show because I can honestly sit here and talk to her for hours and hours and hours. But we are going to have to let you go. I really hope we can have you come back on the show, though. This was absolutely delightful.
Yeah, anytime. I'd love to come back.
Awesome. Well, Alex, before I let you go, though, where can we find you, follow you, and continue on this spectral adventure with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Threads, TikTok, at The Spooky Stuff, all one word. You can also go to my website, alexmatsuo.com, and my books are also on Amazon.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I will be purchasing that latest book because I don't know why I didn't purchase it sooner. What is wrong with me? All right, Bats and Ghouls. Well, a huge thank you to Alex for coming on the show and talking to us and sharing us all her insight and paranormal stuff. That was absolutely amazing. And, of course, a huge thank you to Angel from the OUCHcast for jumping into the void with me on this episode. Always a blast. Always a vibe, brother.
I'm stuck in the void.
We'll get him out eventually.
Never.
Well, that is going to do it for me, your ghost host with the most. If you like what you heard on this episode and want to catch up on past episodes, be sure to follow Into the Void on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever your haunted heart gets its podcast. Also, you're not going to want to miss this opportunity. Support Into the Void and enter to win a paranormal prize this October. That's right. This October, go to our GoFundMe page. That's right. You can go to our GoFundMe page. Your donation will then count as an entry for this year's Halloween prize. That's right. So all you got to do is to support ITB Podcasts to win a paranormal prize pack. Just go to intothevoidpod.com. That's intothevoidpod.com. Search for the GoFundMe little tab. Click on that, make a donation, and your donation is automatically entered to win a paranormal prize. You can't make a donation? That is totally fine. You can then go ahead and email the show beyondthevoid87. That's beyondthevoid87 at gmail.com. Go ahead and email the show with the tagline, let's just make it Into the Void Paranormal Prize or October giveaway. Let's do that. You can go
for Gimme Void.
Gimme Void. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go on the subject line, Give Me Void. That's it. And then in the email, please make sure you put your name, so that way, if you are one of the winners that is chosen, we can then go ahead and get a hold of you. So, do me a favor, Bats and Ghouls. Go check out intothevoidpod.com. Go to the GoFundMe page. Make sure you either make that donation to get your name as an entry, or email the show at beyondthevoid87. And lastly, my apologies to Kimberly J. Brown. Aww. We just simply didn't have enough time, so hopefully we can get you on the next episode. All right, Bats and Ghouls, well, that's going to do it for me. But remember, keep your candles lit and your minds open. Until next time, I'm G-Man, and I want to thank you for falling with me into the void.